I've always quite enjoyed the prototyping process for making stuff with 3D prints. So here I have this head camera, and I'm just creating a mount that will work with my spectacles. And the reason that I need that is that when you use the mount that comes with this video camera, basically it positions the camera so the frames get in the way when you put it on your head. So like trying to use it with spectacles doesn't really work. So anyway, I'm working on this mount. This idea I had does actually hold it, so that part is great. But as you can see, it is on quite an angle, which is a little bit annoying. I really want the camera, if I can show you with one hand, to be more like flush versus the glasses. And as you can see, I've kind of angled it out, but I think it needs to be angled out even more than it is, so that it's pointing more towards like where I would be focusing in the middle of the spectacles rather than pointing, off to the side sort of thing. So this is the next prototype attempt. So I increased the angle away from the camera. And that part I think is good, but unfortunately the connection hasn't worked well on this one, so it's not really sitting in line, so I'll have to have another go at that. Also, I'm going to try and reduce the length of it a bit because this camera kind of bows at the sides, so I'll try and make it a bit shorter. Hopefully that'll help. Okay, I think I'm getting pretty close to finished prototype. So I'm really happy with how the angle is kind of looking more towards the area where I would be focused. And having moved the connection point up further, now it is poking in front of the spectacles instead of being behind it. So that part is fine. Now what I'll probably end up having to do is put like a counterweight on the other side, because when it's on my face, it's not sitting flush on my face. So I'll need to do something about that. Obviously I don't want it to be too heavy because it's going to then be uncomfortable to wear for a long period of time, but something that kind of balances it a bit more. But still usable, and then I'll be able to start doing some actual tests with the video side of things. So this is test 7, hopefully. It's the final test of the headcam system. Now I have been doing a string of tests, and I think I've got the camera into a position where you can actually see what I'm doing, which hopefully is going to make everything a lot more immersive watching my videos. So apologies for the logo down in the bottom corner, but basically I've got to the point with this head cam doing my prototypes where yeah, you can either see my nose in the bottom left-hand corner, and let's face it, no one really wants to see that, so I've put a logo there to hide it, or the camera isn't in the right position, so it either goes through the glasses and my glass distorts the vision a bit, plus the rims obviously are solid, so that's an issue. Or it's more importantly the focus is up too high, so when I'm working on things you see, like almost the top of my brush maybe, but you don't actually see it. So anyway, long story short, this is about as close to optimal as I have been able to achieve. Now if you've been watching this, you've probably just seen a few videos on a 3D mount for my spectacles or glasses, depending on what you like to call them. And that was the way that for the longest time I thought I was heading. Like, you know, I'm into, as I said on the first part of this video, into 3D prototypes. I've done a number of prototyping projects, and I thought, oh well, you know, that's what I would do here. Unfortunately, there ended up being several issues with doing it on spectacles. So the first issue is the weight, both on the glasses themselves, which, you know, obviously my spectacles aren't designed long term to hold you know, weight on them like that, so it may have ended up like breaking or warping or damaging the spectacles. The second issue is that, like, the anchor points on my face, on my nose, and on my ears. So, you know, I wouldn't want to get into a position where I dreaded kind of coming down and working on my models because it was hurting me, and I was like, oh, am I going to go painting again? You know, like, that is not what you want. Obviously, it's a fun hobby, something that I enjoy. And the last thing that I want is to get to a stage where I don't want to do it. So long story short, I was having issues with that, those prototypes. Now the other issue is that, like, all the weight is on one side, and even though the webcam itself isn't very heavy, it does have like a cable attached to my computer as well, so that was pulling down. Not that that's a lot of weight, but everything was on one side. And in a moment of kind of like desperate insanity, I did actually think about making like a counterweight or a ballast on the other side of the spectacles, and then I kind of realized that it was just all getting a little bit silly and that I needed to rethink what I was going to do. I mean, I really like the idea of this, of having a head cam so that you can kind of see, you know, exactly what I'm doing. I think it's much more immersive for viewers, so hopefully, you know, it will end up in much better videos for people to watch. Yeah. But it wasn't working the way things were going. So what I decided to do was just rethink the whole thing. So I jumped on the Colt's 3D plans website. That's where I get a lot of my free STLs, and also just where I go when I'm wanting to get ideas. My Mini Factory is a great site, don't get me wrong, but that's more where I buy like what other artists have been working on, and Thingiverse as well. So anyway, I was there looking at what, you know, you did a search for like camera mount or webcam mount, and a whole bunch of search results came back for like GoPros and other cameras on helmet mounts. And that got me thinking about, maybe a helmet is a better way to go. Obviously the weight is distributed across the helmet, so it should, you know, sit fine. Like, helmet manufacturers know what they're doing. They come with like foam and padding and stuff, so you know, this one that I've ended up buying is actually reasonably comfortable on my head. So like I said, the webcam itself isn't a great deal of weight, but it just means that, you know, I could have a long session easily with an hour or so, you know, no problems with this this helmet. And it is adjustable, like you can tighten it up or loosen it a bit, the particular one that I bought, such that I've actually cut the straps off it after I did some tests, like I think this is test 7 or 8. Now, because it's kind of hard to look at your painting and, you know, also look over to the side at what the camera is doing. So I've done a whole bunch of tests and modified things and progressively tried to lower to this is about as low as I can get the camera. Like I say, once again, apologies for the logo, but if I remove the logo, then you just basically see a fixed part of my nose, which is permanently blocking the camera. So yeah, that logo is just hiding the nose, but it's not like if that wasn't there you would ever see any model, because the camera just isn't recording the model in that particular section of the screen. It's only recording my nose. So yeah, I think it's the best outcome. And so, you know, there'll be no download of this to the Thingiverse site, because you know, basically what I've ended up doing is drilling the hole in the side of the helmet, because these things are all like bolt mounted. So I drilled a hole, and then I could adjust the angle once I'd worked out my length, and yeah, it all seems to work reasonably well. So hopefully in the videos going forward from now, you'll get a lot better engagement with being able to see exactly what I am doing. Alrighty, well, I am continuing on the talons, so it's a little bit of a painstaking type of process which I'm working on now. So I haven't recorded this particular painting task before, because it's basically silver and square patches. It's a little bit monotonous, so I will leave the video there. But yeah, this is the test and the update on how the headcam project has come along. So this is the final setup mounted on the side of the helmet. And the microphone on this camera is surprisingly good, so I've just started using that as my main microphone.